Hi, good evening. Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Live at Cafe Gratitude. Yay! Thank you. Before I get to introducing tonight's speaker, I have a little bit of business to take care of. One is, I just want to thank all of you who actually came tonight. Really appreciate the attendance that we've been having, and the speakers are all just getting going, and we've got them, like I said, booked through July, and I really hope that people keep coming and keep building this. If you look at the speaker lineup on the actual table, there is a slight change. Lydia Kindheart had to reschedule for later in the year, so next week is Laura Fox, and I'm really excited about that. She's the voice of Raw Inspiration Radio, and she did Raw Spirit Radio amongst many other things, so she's going to be really exciting and enlivening. I do have a newsletter sign up, so if you want to keep updated on who's coming to speak, if you want to get the updates on the audio interviews with each of the speakers and also links for each of the presentations, go ahead and sign up and I'll get those to you. We did just figure out that we could switch from YouTube to Blip TV, so we don't have to chop them up into 10-minute segments anymore. You'll get to see the whole presentation. Yay, I'm very excited about that. And now I'd like to introduce Cecilia Benjumea, I have to say it like that to actually say it. She has been a raw foodist for 8 or 9 years with quite a I healed myself with raw food story of chronic fatigue and some other things. She's a raw food chef, educator, lifestyle coach, and author, and she's very local. She's down in Petaluma teaching classes constantly. She's done a lot of different caterings for retreats. She's had her food published photographically in Living Nutrition magazine, and she's the organizer of the Petaluma Raw Food Potluck, which is an amazing potluck. It's just a huge event once every month, the first Friday of every month, and there's flyers right there with information on it. It's really worth coming down to. And so I'm going to hand the mic over to Cecilia to tell us her story.
Thank you, Shea.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Shea and Cafe Gratitude for putting on Monday Night Live. So I'm very grateful to be here. And thank you all for coming out and listening to me. The fact that anybody would come and listen to me is pretty amazing. I don't really consider myself to be extraordinary. I consider myself just to be an ordinary person, and I just got really, really sick when I was in my early 20s, and I was able to overcome it, and I feel like it's my responsibility to share my story with others so that maybe someone is suffering from a chronic illness, or they just want to maybe prevent any future health problems, or they want to improve their health in any way. I feel that by sharing my story, hopefully they can maybe learn a few things about what helped me that might help them as well. And most importantly, I want to give people hope, especially people that have been suffering from a chronic illness. A lot of times it's easy to feel hopeless, and I hope that my story will inspire hope in people to know that, you know, they can get better, that things can get better. So anyways, I was about 22 and I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. This was about 10 or so years ago, so it was a fairly new term in the medical establishment. Basically, I was so tired I could not get out of bed. There were days where I didn't get out of bed at all. There were days where I was able to function the world maybe a few hours, and then I would have to sleep the rest of the day. And when I went to the doctors, of course, they did all my blood tests. They said, nothing's wrong with you, you know. Finally, they just gave me a label, I think, just to make me happy. You have chronic fatigue syndrome. And they basically told me that I needed to go to a counselor. And so I did, and that helped a lot, but I was still extremely tired. It probably helped, you know, a lot of emotional issues and so forth, but it didn't help at all with the fatigue. So I just want to rewind, like, how did I get to this point? I mean, I'm in my early 20s. Like, how does someone in their early 20s, get something so serious as chronic fatigue syndrome? Well, there was a lot leading up to it, and I think one of the main points I want to get across in my talk is that our natural state of being is wellness. I mean, we are these amazing, amazing beings, and our body is a miracle, and it knows how to heal itself. It knows how to detoxify. Our natural state, our natural emotional state is happiness. I mean, look at babies. They're just so happy to discover their toes, or, just discover everything in the world. I mean, I've never seen a depressed baby. So it's like, how do you get from being so healthy and vibrant and your natural state being wellness and happiness, and how do you go from that, from getting really, really sick? Well, in retrospect, when I look back, there was so many signals that I ignored. And that's just the really important thing I want to get across, is that our bodies are like compasses. They're constantly guiding us either in the right direction, or actually they're letting us know when we're going in the wrong direction, or we're getting positive feedback and we know we're going in the right direction. And positive feedback would be joy, happiness, feeling good. For some reason in this culture, we're just taught to dominate our bodies. Like, body, you're gonna do what I say. I want you to work this many hours a week and only get this much sleep, and if you don't like it, tough kind of thing. And if not, just drink some more coffee, or So I realized that I had ignored so many signals. Even before my illness manifested, I was depressed. I had a rough childhood. My mother ended up committing suicide, which was very traumatic. So already I was dealing with a lot of grief, a lot of anger, and basically I just worked to keep myself busy, to keep myself distracted from all these feelings inside. So I had all these suppressed feelings of anger and grief, and I was very depressed. And so what I did is I just decided to distract myself from feeling these feelings. So I was like going to college, I was in a dance company, I was in massage school, I was a preschool teacher. I basically planned my day. I remember getting up at 6 in the morning and just going all day with no breaks, until like 11 at night. And there was just no time for my body to just relax and just, hang out. It was always, doing something, accomplishing something. And, my body didn't like it very much, and it was giving me all kinds of signals. I mean, some of the early signals were, I would get bladder infections all the time. I'd get like these chronic bladder infections. I'd get these chronic bacterial infections, like these weird rashes on my legs, sinus infections. I worked at a preschool, so anytime a child was sick, of course, I would get it. Stomach flu, whatever was going around. So my body was already kind of telling me, you need to slow down. You need to maybe reevaluate how busy your life is. You need to maybe, start expressing some of these feelings that you're, carrying inside. And it got to the point where I had so many bladder infections, and every time I went to the doctors, they would give me more and more and more antibiotics, to the point where I was on antibiotics every single day. And I think my body finally was like, well, if you're not gonna listen to me, I'm gonna do something to make sure that you for sure listen to me. And basically my body just collapsed out from under me. And that's how I ended up at 22, hardly even able to get out of bed, and just barely, making it through my days. I had to quit my job, quit school, quit the dance company. My body was like, finally, you're listening to me. And at the time, I didn't know it, but it started a beautiful, beautiful healing journey, a beautiful, beautiful transformational journey. And I consider now getting chronic fatigue syndrome so early in life such an amazing blessing. And I wouldn't have all the blessings that I have in my life now if it weren't for getting sick so early.